Hi everyone, we're trying a different lecture style today. We're going to be writing on this whiteboard instead of me lecturing over slides, so hopefully this is a little bit more engaging and hopefully just as informative. So we're going to start by talking about exceptions. So we're going to talk about what an exception is, and we're going to talk about what they are in Java in particular. So here we're going to be talking about exceptions, and what is an exception exactly? Well, an exception is just unusual. Ooh, it helps if I can spell. Unusual and unplanned behavior in a program. All right, so that's unusual or unplanned behavior in a program. And some examples that we might have are just things that you see on a regular basis. So this is going to be things like we're going to talk about divide by zero errors, right? So what happens when you're doing some arithmetic in your program and you can't really determine why, but you got a zero for one of your values and you need to divide by that number. Well, what does your program do? What does that look like? How do you want your program to behave? So we have to deal with that. We have to deal with things like out of bounds access problems on your arrays. Right? So out of bounds access on arrays, what happens when you're trying to access something beyond what you have in your stored array? Sometimes that becomes an issue, and sometimes we have things like a file does not exist error. This happens more when you're dealing, of course, with external files in the program. So we want to talk about how we might handle these kind of errors and what we do. So there's some important terminology we need here. And the first piece of important terminology that we need is the word throw. So, oh, I messed up there. Hold on. We want to talk about throwing. So throwing in a program means to throw an exception. So what do we mean when we say to throw an exception? So when we throw an exception, we are signaling to the program and to the programmer in particular that we don't know what to do. All right, so we don't know what to do. We don't know how to handle this thing. So this is strange and unexpected. So that's what it means. We're going to throw an exception, which just means we're going to throw out that signal to the programmer, to the program that's running the particular code that we wrote, and saying this is weird, this is strange. Now the other piece of terminology we need to know is about the phrase catching. So to catch an exception means to handle or process the exception. All right, so this is sometimes called handle. Ooh, I don't need that G. I don't know why I wrote that. So we need to handle the exception. We need to process it, and this is called catching. Sometimes it is also referred to handling. There's some other terms for it that we'll cover as we go through the next steps here. So what I'm going to talk about in the next video is what a try-catch block is, and we're just going to continue from where I left off on this whiteboard. So yeah, we're going to talk about a try-catch, we're going to go over some examples, and then we're going to go over something called exception classes in the video after that.